Prince William has finally snapped. Enough is enough. He has told friends he will strip Meghan Markle of the HRH title.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. Let them go off and be, celebrities, that's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal family.
Beast has reported that King Charles is turning a blind eye, but King William won't.
It's so disrespectful to Queen Elizabeth II's memory. According to a source, here's the quote, Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother Prince Harry and his power-hungry wife Meghan from the history books, it says.
But this has been Meghan Markle's MO from the beginning. She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibility. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara. She doesn't want the public service.
Prince William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
The only thing HRH stands for in association with Meghan Markle is her ruthless homewreckerness, I guess.
Didn't explode onto the scene. It crept in quietly. Whispers in Westminster. Hushed conversations behind closed doors, hinting that something big, something unshakably real, was on its way.
Prince William will strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles when he becomes king.
There are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview which aired.
But it's hardly a secret that the palace has already conducted secret meetings with members of the government to discuss putting the plan into action.
Charles might be happy to put up with this, but William won't. He loathes and despises Harry and Meghan with every bone in his body. He believes they have betrayed everything the family stands for.
This wasn't a tabloid meltdown or some flashy Instagram campaign. This was different. This was official. A motion had landed right inside the House of Lords. Yes, the oldest democratic chamber in the world. We're no longer talking about social media storms or public drama. This is the establishment moving, and it's moving against Meghan Markle.
The royal family at this point in time, after the Oprah Winfrey interview, Spare, and the Netflix series, want nothing to do with these two people. Do we really believe that the royal family was trying to trap them in the UK?
You've had the Duke and Duchess of Montecito running around like a rival royal family, trashing their family, trashing the monarchy.
The woman once known as the Duchess of Sussex, she might soon be stripped of even that, because now it's not just public opinion turning, it's British power itself. It all started not with a headline or a scandal, but with silence, a whisper, and that whisper is gaining force. But that quiet whisper, it's now a thunderclap shaking the walls of British tradition.
You just wait until Prince William is king. I think he's going to put his handsome foot down and he is going to rock Meghan Markle's world. Meghan Markle is going to be humbled very quickly.
According to a report in OK Magazine, Prince William plans on stripping both Harry and Meghan of their HRH titles once he becomes king.
For the first time in recent memory, the British aristocracy has done the unthinkable. It's officially declared war on Meghan Markle. The House of Lords has just tabled a formal petition to strip her of the Duchess of Sussex title permanently.
You believe the Daily Beast, their reports is that the desire not to have the Duke and Duchess of Sussex ever return has intensified. They don't want anything to do with Harry and Meghan, and this just plays into their victimhood narrative that Prince Harry has been milking since he just quit his job. But I disagree with him. I don't believe that the royal family has any desire to have him back.
I'm sure they will tomorrow. I don't have to change anything about myself. I don't need to work. I'm just going to keep doing all the things that I'm doing that have failed, and I'm not going to take any responsibility. I'm not going to suggest that maybe that might be my fault. And no. It'll just all change tomorrow.
And this isn't some symbolic gesture or political theater. This is real, legislative, strategic, and it's threatening to unravel everything Meghan thought was untouchable. Let's rewind to what most people brushed off just months ago as pure fantasy. That fantasy is now a formal motion debated within the House of Lords. Not a tweet gone viral, not a reactionary YouTube rant, an official parliamentary act, tabled by Lord Simon Lee, a crossbench peer, with surprising support from both Conservative and Labour members.
It's the UK's right to then say and follow the rules that they have. You're not special. You don't get extra just because. And he constantly is living this life of demanding extra because he's Prince Harry. Bro, when you left the royal family, you became some random dude. Keep it honest. Who was Prince Harry?
And what this petition outlines, it's nothing short of explosive. Specific allegations include repeated breaches of diplomatic protocol, public mockery of royal tradition, and leveraging her royal royal title for commercial profit. The wording of the petition is razor sharp, accusing Meghan of diminishing the sovereign dignity of a title that was never hers to exploit, but given in trust.
If you think about it, Meghan got everything she wanted. She got the husband, she got the children, she got the HRH, she got everything that allowed her to rise up and have that global recognition that we know how badly she wanted that.
And here's the kicker. This is no longer a royal family affair. This has officially crossed into legal territory, a matter of parliamentary sovereignty. Lawmakers are stepping in to do what Buckingham Palace has hesitated to, enforce real consequences. So, what was the final straw? Enter Meghan and Harry's unofficial royal tour of Nigeria.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry may no longer be working royals, but their recent trip to Nigeria looked very much like a royal tour of their own.
On the surface, it was framed as a private cultural visit, but in reality, it had all the hallmarks of an official royal engagement: traditional attire, welcomes from high-ranking military officers, hosted dinners, public speeches about British heritage, carefully orchestrated photo ops with generals.
Who just went off on these, what did she call them? Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself, and I include Harry in that. She cares about her image. That's why she's there.
Like, Meghan, you have a very privileged life.
Yeah.
We all get it. You're beautiful. You married a prince, but that's literally all you've done to when it comes to your accomplishments.
Right.
This is a pattern for her. It's not about charity. It's about her image.
Let's call it what it was: a full-scale royal tour, minus the royal clearance. The Sussexes behaved like they were still on official crown duty, posing as full-time royals on a global stage.
She was an actress. She's not anymore. You know, she basically travels around the world smiling and making sort of, happy faces and meeting people.
And behind the scenes, Whitehall was furious. Government insiders revealed that both the Foreign Office and Buckingham Palace were completely blindsided. No one was informed. No one was consulted. To the British government, this wasn't just a harmless trip. It was rogue diplomacy.
Harry and Meghan, I don't know if this is a royal tour. They're not working royals, are they? But they're not politicians or pop stars. What exactly are they doing touring Nigeria in the first place, Kinsey?
Exactly the kind of unauthorized political theater the House of Lords cited as diplomatic posturing that could threaten the Crown's carefully maintained neutrality on the world stage.
Like, she gets this platform, she gets on the stage, and instead of saying, what a beautiful country you have, I'm so blessed to be here, I am courageous, I am brave, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Lady, you sound crazy.
And let's be clear, the Lords aren't acting in isolation. They're riding a tidal wave of public outrage. According to a May 2025 UK poll, a staggering 77% of the British public now believe Meghan should be stripped of the Duchess of Sussex title. That's not just a majority, it's a landslide.
She hated being in Britain, she hated being a royal, and then she staged that Megxit, taking Harry in tow, fleeing Britain under a cloud because the Queen had launched an inquiry and investigation into her bullying palace staff.
Higher than during the explosive Oprah Winfrey interview fallout, higher than at any other point in the Sussex saga. In a rare moment of unity, voters from across the political spectrum are standing shoulder to shoulder on one thing. Royal titles aren't fashion statements. They're not trendy add-ons. They come with weight, duty, history, and constitutional significance.
The HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family because it denotes a level of I guess, respect in the public, and also it's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honor to have an HRH.
So many people, they want all the privileges, they want all of the honors, they want all the plaudits, but they don't want to do anything.
And it doesn't stop with Meghan. A surprising 61% of people now believe Prince Harry should lose his titles too, especially the coveted His Royal Highness. But for now, the spotlight and the backlash is squarely on Meghan. She's become the lightning rod, a symbol of controversy, commercialism, and what some see as a growing institutional embarrassment.
And here in the States, it's being reported by tabloids that Meghan quietly canceled plans to celebrate their 7th wedding anniversary at home with Prince Harry because they don't have that many friends left.
The royal family, especially William and Kate, didn't develop reservations about Meghan because of the way she bullied palace staff. She was simply the victim of royal racism. All of this is nonsense, of course.
And then came that moment, the moment that took public irritation and turned it into political motion. A viral clip from Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter concert in Los Angeles caught Meghan Markle on camera, laughing, shouting to the crowd, I'm Sussex now.
About last night, ... Thank you, Beyonce and team, for an amazing concert and a very fun date night. All love. Girl, she didn't invite you to the concert. Oh my God, that hat. Oh God. He's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? She bagged a fox.
She even told Mindy Kaling to call her Meghan Sussex on her podcast, With Love, Meghan. At first glance, it might have seemed like a lighthearted joke, but to members of the House of Lords, it was the final straw. To them, this wasn't humor. It was proof that Meghan treats her royal title like a branding gimmick, a punchline for personal gain. The petition doesn't just mention it, it targets it. It calls the moment a crass trivialization of sovereign designations.
She sent a bloke or some friend of hers from it, and it said, present from HRH, the Duchess of Sussex. She's lying.
Yeah, she's gaslighting. She's lying. Absolutely. And this is just another one of those examples of Harry and Meghan disrespecting the Queen. I know she is no longer here, but that does not mean that the rules don't apply to you any longer.
And now, UK legal experts are weighing in, pointing to the Mautic 1917 Royal Titles Act, which prohibits title holders from using their status for commercial or performative purposes. If Meghan crossed that line, she may have triggered a legal, not just political reckoning. The footage from the concert, the podcast comment, Whitehall saw it, the Lords saw it, and their conclusion was unanimous. If Meghan wants to be a brand, she can't also be a duchess.
Oh, we want our privacy and safety, but we'll go be at Beyonce concerts and do whatever we want. Oh, look at him. It's my fox. Oh, yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
This petition, it's just the opening salvo. The fairy tale image, the American actress turned royal icon, is now buckling under the weight of her own global branding empire. And here's the twist. This isn't coming from gossip rags or outraged YouTubers. It's coming from the heart of British governance. The monarchy may be keeping quiet. King Charles has yet to act. But the House of Lords, they've made their move. And for Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex might soon become the title that history takes back.
The Sussexes will not use their HRH titles as they are no longer working members of the royal family. That's it.
While Meghan Markle's defenders are quick to cry sex or racism, the truth behind this latest move is far more serious and far more structured. This isn't a tabloid-driven frenzy. It's constitutional. The House of Lords doesn't run on headlines. It runs on precedent, law, and centuries of carefully guarded royal protocol.
Now that she is married into this family, she clearly is proving to everyone that she just doesn't care. She will do what she wants to do because guess what? There are no consequences to anything that she does.
And now, it's setting its sights directly on Meghan's Duchess of Sussex title, with petition points 5 through 8 laying out some of the most serious allegations yet. One of the most damning, Meghan's repeated violations of the Royal Communications Protocol, a centuries-old rule designed to prevent royals from making unsanctioned public statements, especially on foreign soil.
Meghan has no respect. She has no respect for the institution, no respect for the rules that she is supposed to follow.
And this isn't vague. Meghan's podcast on archetypes is called out by name during the Lords debate. Her content, her messaging, her global platform, it's all being scrutinized as potential misuse of royal status on an international stage. On archetypes, Meghan repeatedly invoked her royal past to promote private projects, linking her time in the monarchy to personal branding ventures.
See this institutional gaslighting that happens is extraordinary. And that's why everything that's happened to us was always going to happen to us, because if you speak truth to power, that's how they respond.
Before you gave up any royal duty, but wanted to have your royal cake and eat it by keeping your title so you could exploit them and make gazillions of dollars in America to the highest bidder. And what do you do for that money? You trash your family endlessly, and you're going to keep doing it, as does your wife, who trashes her own family.
But what truly ignited backlash were her on-air claims, allegations about how the royal family treated her child, her mental health struggles, and a bombshell accusation that an unnamed royal made racist remarks. The palace, they've stuck to their trademark silence. But Parliament, they're not bound by that same code. The House of Lords argues that Meghan's public statements, while still holding the Duchess of Sussex title, caused diplomatic embarrassment and damaged the monarchy's standing across the Commonwealth.
This is the same woman who said, I never even considered my blackness until the British tabloids started to make a thing out of it. Now she's like, I am Nigeria. Fellow women, hear me roar.
This isn't a free speech debate. It's about accountability, about wielding a title steeped in royal privilege to launch personal attacks against an institution constitutionally bound to stay silent. And it doesn't stop there. The petition goes on to condemn what it calls the blatant commercialization of a sovereign title, accusing Meghan of turning the Duchess label into a marketing tool rather than a symbol of public service. Meghan and Harry's deals with Spotify and Netflix weren't just about storytelling. They were business ventures, packaged and sold under the powerful Sussex brand.
Never before seen pics of the kids. They only did that so they could get more press. Honestly, they want to keep their kids out of the press, they want to keep them safe, but they constantly want to just throw a little bit so we're like, ooh, a rare peek at their kids.
Meghan is willing to show pictures of her kids. I think it just depends on how many zeros are at the end of the check.
And this wasn't subtle. The 2022 Netflix docuseries literally opened with the titles The Duke and Duchess of Sussex in regal fonts, no less.
Did you notice that at the end of every episode, it says, like, the starring Meghan, Duchess of Sussex?
Yes.
That's how she's billed.
It didn't stop at content. The couple even tried to trademark both Archewell House and Sussex Royal Crown as global brands. It took the Queen herself stepping in to shut down any use of royal for commercial purposes. Only then did they back off, reluctantly. The House of Lords calls it what it is: unauthorized commercial exploitation of noble status. And under British law, that could be more than inappropriate. It could be grounds for facie, legislative removal clause of her title. Put plainly, Meghan turned royalty into reality TV, and Parliament noticed. Then comes perhaps the most stinging accusation of all, that Meghan has actively contributed to turning a noble title into a tabloid punchline. The petition doesn't hold back. It points directly to Meghan's frequent press appearances, high-profile paparazzi run-ins, and that headline-grabbing car chase claim in New York, an incident the NYPD later described as exaggerated.
Meghan, it's just like we see right through your fake behavior, and no amount of saying how kind you are is going to make people think, oh, isn't she so kind? All of the nasty things you have done, we know.
To the House of Lords, this isn't just attention-seeking. It's a pattern. Meghan and Harry present themselves as victims of media intrusion, all while carefully maintaining the very visibility that keeps them front-page news. The Lords call it what they see it as: a self-inflicted public spectacle, one that drags the dignity and integrity of British titles through the mud. And then comes the comparison. The petition cites lesser-known royals, Princess Alexandra, who've lived decades in dignified, low-profile public service, without so much as a podcast, let alone a Netflix deal. No glam squads, no headlines, just duty. The message is crystal clear. You can't claim to be oppressed by the institution while simultaneously building a global media empire on the back of its titles. Especially not when you're holding private meetings with foreign military leaders, showing up at public events, and delivering speeches in traditional Nigerian attire, all under the guise of cultural engagement.
But it's wild how much she is so confident in herself. I mean, basically what she just said was, I am courageous, I am brave.
Yeah, it's all about me, 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 me.
By continuing to use her Duchess title, Meghan blurred a critical line, the one between personal advocacy and diplomatic representation. And that's where things get dangerous. When a high-profile figure appears to speak on behalf of the crown without informing either Buckingham Palace or the Foreign Office, it creates real risk, international confusion, mixed signals about British foreign policy, and above all, it chips away at one of the monarchy's most vital roles, being a neutral head of state. In plain terms, Meghan acted like a working royal, without permission, without oversight, and until now, without consequence.
They felt like she dressed inappropriately throughout the tour. She changed clothes multiple times a day. And you're right, the objective was to look like she was the Princess of Wales, having her multiple meetings throughout the day, different looks, and that's not their status anymore. A week ago, Meghan Markle was throwing jam at her neighbors.
But Parliament has had enough. No more watching from the sidelines. Meghan Markle's royal fantasy has crashed headfirst into the realities of British constitutional law. And here, in this courtroom of peers and protocol, titles aren't inherited fairy tales. They're earned, and they can absolutely be revoked. The next chapter could see the Duchess of Sussex erased, not by scandal, not by headlines, but by statute. The House of Lords zeroes in on one of the most explosive moments in modern royal history, the Oprah interview. Meghan made sweeping allegations of racism within the royal family. She declined to name anyone, yet left the door wide open for global speculation.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
My wife is not visibly black, but that's who she is. The way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable to everybody else of color.
What followed was a media firestorm that painted the monarchy as outdated, colonial, ceremonial and inherently oppressive. And here's the key point. She did all this while still holding the title Duchess of Sussex. That title wasn't a personal brand. It was a gift granted by the sovereign, one that carries duty, not immunity. In Parliament's view, Meghan didn't quietly step back from royal life. She lit the match and walked away as the institution burned behind her. And that isn't protected speech. It's being labeled as institutional sabotage, launched under the legal and symbolic shield of a peerage title. But
their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, they are still Royal Highnesses, but they're not supposed to use that HRH title since they became non-working royals and moved to the United States.
The final and most damning point in the Lords' petition doesn't even focus on Meghan's actions. It turns to the public. They cite national polls, citizen petitions, and a wave of mounting frustration. The Lords argue that the continued use of the title Duchess of Sussex by a private American citizen now undermines the dignity of the British honor system itself. We're not talking about someone quietly serving the crown. We're talking about a woman living in Montecito, starring in documentaries, walking red carpets with A-list celebrities. Meghan Markle isn't representing the British people or the monarch, and the House of Lords is done pretending otherwise. They've called it what it is, a mockery of noble rank, persistently monetized and stripped of its ceremonial purpose. The title Duchess of Sussex, it's no longer a role. It's a brand, a logo, a Netflix franchise. And that's the heart of the matter, because if the monarchy can't protect the sanctity of its own titles, it doesn't just lose credibility, it loses control. The petition has done what years of polite royal silence never could. It drew a hard line in the sand. Meghan may have built a global media empire on the back of that Duchess title, but if the House of Lords has its say, that foundation is about to collapse. This isn't just a royal reckoning, it's a goddamn constitutional eviction. And those whispers that started in Westminster, they've turned into a war cry. What started as quiet frustration among the British public has now exploded into a full-scale constitutional petition, one that aims to sever Meghan Markle from the last thread of royal prestige she still holds on to. And let's be clear, this isn't about revenge. It's about restoration of the monarchy's honor, the sanctity of its titles, the dignity of an institution that has weathered wars, abdications, and scandal for centuries. But today, that institution is being dragged through the mud, not by critics or enemies, but by a Hollywood duchess who's reinvented herself as a self-styled feminist disruptor. Meghan and Harry said they wanted freedom, a life beyond palace walls, away from duty, structure, and protocol. The crown granted it, but what followed wasn't quiet. It wasn't privacy, it was profit odd. It was platforms. It was a global rebrand built not in spite of their titles, but because of them.